Welcome back to another episode of Dust on Dust, and it has been way too long. You're probably not going to see too many more of these or Dust videos, because I don't really play this game anymore. I do sometimes, I hop on and I mess around. That's what I'm doing now. Just haven't played in quite a while, but I'm just going to hop in and troll around for a match and talk a little bit with you guys. This is going to be mostly an opinion piece. It's kind of hard for me to remain objective about this game, just with all of my personal feelings and opinions toward it, and the way it's gone. I'm really disappointed with. So first and foremost, I'm just doing this off the top of my head. I'm just playing a game, and I'm just gonna shoot some stuff at you here. So keep in mind, it's just my opinion. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. Tell me how dumb I am, or how wrong I am. But yeah. So first off, it's no big secret. I'm not happy with what's happened to the game. I know that Ratatai and Logibro and the other 2.5 developers we have are doing a great job with what they've got. But my issue lies more with what they've got. The fact that most of the dev team has been pulled off to other projects, most of the budget is gone. There's just not much that can be done, and you can see that with the last hotfix we got was 3 months ago. It just included some stat changes. You got a couple things for Planetary Conquest stuff. We're not getting any real features, no real meat to the game, and now we have the new hotfix coming out soon. Which again is just some stat shuffles. They're trying to balance out AV and vehicles a little bit, and just like, look, this is my first match I've gotten in a while, and I know I'm playing solo and just going in, but I'm put into a half-done match. But at least there's full people here, so that's something. Oh yeah, and you'll probably notice I lose my train of thought very often since I'm doing this as I play, so sorry about that. Yeah, so let's see. Since all I do is fly and pilot, I don't really want to speak about the infantry changes they're doing, because I haven't played infantry in so long. I have 0 SP in it. It's no fun to me. I don't like it. But so they're changing swarm launchers a little bit. They're reducing the lock-on range. They're by 25 meters from 175 to 150. They are reducing the impact damage, or not impact damage, the like how much it pushes you around when you get hit. And they're also reducing the turn radius, apparently. Where am I going? So first and foremost, the reduced to lock-on range. I feel like that's just not really a good move, because it's just going to enforce dropships staying away from fights. You know, you have to run at the sign of most opposition. That's just what we do, because if you don't, you just kind of die. This idiot. Boop. Peace out, bro. So reducing the lock-on range isn't going to do a whole lot, because good pilots, or good AV with swarms, as much as I hesitate to call them good, they don't shoot until you're close. You know, they may pick up that lock-on, but they're not going to shoot until you're closer, because you need to get all your missiles out anyways. So that's not going to change a whole lot of anything. Next, the impulse, I think, is a completely pointless change. If you are really familiar with your dropship, that impulse isn't going to affect you very much. We've already learned how to compensate for that, and it seems kind of silly to add that in. And what was the other one? The turn radius, we'll have to see. I really don't think it's going to make much of a difference, but it might. That's one of those things that you can't really predict until you actually see how it starts playing out in the game. But I really feel that, at least with swarm launchers, the main issue has always been their damage, particularly towards dropships. They just do a lot of damage, and that's not going to change with this. They could have brought back a little bit of native resists on watch out for that. A little bit of the native resists on the dropships, like the logistics dropship used to have, so that way they'd be taking a little bit less damage from swarm launchers and whatnot. That would help, because the main thing is they want them to still be useful towards HEVs, obviously, without completely destroying dropships. So it's a little bit of a delicate balance. I really don't feel that reducing the lock-on range is going to do much, as opposed to addressing the fact that they just do too much damage to dropships. And since they don't seem very willing in giving us more fitting options, I'm not really sure where that's going to go. And match over. So I guess I'm just going to hop into another match. Not sure where I was going with that. Completely lost my train of thought, and I might be stuck on the end screen here. Oh boy. This is, oh hey, we're not stuck on the end screen. Woo! Da, 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 da. Now I can't monetize this video. Damn. Son of a bitch. Yeah, I just don't feel that these changes are going to really address much. Oh, now I remember. Woohoo! The other big issue with swarm launchers is the fact that they follow you for 400 meters. It's not an easy thing to balance, so I hesitate to totally attack CCP and for the way they're going about the changes, because it is difficult to find that balance so dropships aren't immune to everything except other dropships. But with swarm launchers, it's just 400 meters is far. And I feel like maybe players who don't fly that often don't quite realize just how far 400 meters is, especially for a weapon that once it's fired, it requires no input on the part of the operator. It just travels. A lot of times they'll go around buildings, and just all sorts of crazy shit that they do. And a lot of times you can't even tell if you still have swarms following you. There's really only two ways. You either just keep going forward until you're well into your red line, so you know that they couldn't be following you, or you try and turn to see, but a lot of times doing that slows you down just enough so that way the swarms catch up to you, because swarms move faster than dropships do at their max speed. So that's kind of annoying. I would have liked to see some love to the forge gun and even the plasma cannon, because I feel like they're underperforming a little bit versus skilled pilots, because I like going against forge guns personally, because it's actually a fun fight. I have a really good feeling for the timings. I know how to juke them, and it's very skill versus skill, and it's just a fun engagement, at least for me. Maybe less for them. But the reason I survive against them is because I can dodge their shots. I can kind of predict where they're going, and that's just a more dynamic engagement than a swarm launcher, whereas as soon as I see a swarm launcher, I have to run. Even if you have missiles, and unless you land that kill right away, you will die on your way out, because the swarms just do so much damage. So the fact that they totally danced around the damage and the range, how far they'll go to kill you, kind of annoys me. But again, It's just my personal opinion. I don't play this game very often. I've played a shitload in the past, so I have a good feeling, considering not a lot has changed. It really brings me back to my disappointment in the state of the game and how CCP has handled everything. You know, maybe they have a bunch of devs tucked away somewhere working on Legion, and they'll come out and surprise us all and be like, hey, we were actually putting your money to good use and working. And that would be cool, though I don't really trust CCP anymore to make a quality game by themselves, which is pretty pessimistic of me, I suppose. But there's just... I've had a bad experience with this game, in my opinion, with how they've handled everything. So it would be nice for them to be like, hey, we're working on this, but our community is pretty volatile too, and you really can't please us no matter what you do, so who knows. I'm also really disappointed with like the CPM. Not anyone in particular, well maybe, but just the idea of it, I suppose. It feels like it should be something that's good for the game. You know, it gets people involved. It lets the community kind of have a... I want to say have a voice, but not really, you know, because the CPM just gets all of our stuff from the forum anyways. So I've always... Well, not always, but for most of the time I've felt that CCP would be better off hiring experts, paying them, and doing all this in-house, because they can collect feedback just as well as any random forum person does. You know, CPM, there's no real qualification. You know, you just have to be popular enough for enough people to vote for you, and that's really it. Considering most people that vote don't really know, the impact it might have, kind of bothers me. I've never voted. I don't intend to vote because I feel that it's bad for the game to have any one player have any more of a say than anyone else. And you may say, oh, the CPM is just a sounding board, but that's still their opinion shines through at the end of the day. No matter how hard you try to be objective, your opinion is going to influence how you present your information to CCP, and what you choose to accept as quality feedback versus just spam or whatever. That all comes down to your personal opinion, and it just really bothers me to have a random player's personal opinion having any more weight than any other random player's personal opinion. So I feel that this game could, in theory, benefit from the CPM, but I feel like in the state that it's in, and considering that the state that it's in isn't going to change anytime soon because of CCP essentially abandoning the game. They haven't. They're still doing little updates here and there, but there's no major updates. There's no content. There's no changes to just anything that really matters. It's just stat shuffles for the most part. So I feel like the CPM really does not do anything to help the game. And again, that's not to say that they're not trying. They're obviously on the forums trying. They're talking to people, and that's great. But I don't know. I've lost a lot of faith in this game and what this game can accomplish, because I got into this game because I had a vision. I knew that it probably would never totally come to pass on the PS3, because PS3 is a great system, but there's only so much you can do with it. But it's not just the PS3. It's been a total mismanagement from CCP and how they handle just everything. There've been so many just dramatic fuck ups in this game, and I don't know. I can't support it anymore. I'll mess around with it occasionally, and I don't really talk bad about it. Well, I guess that's all I've been doing. But I try not to totally just shit talk the game. You know, if I'm gonna shit talk it, I try to say why. Oh, there's the sword. I don't know, and like, it probably doesn't help that I play dropships and we're like one of the most hated roles, just because it's so difficult to figure out how to balance dropships and make them an engaging gameplay feature or whatever without making them totally overpowered. And you'll see some players, even members of CPM, and they'll go on and on about, you know, oh, dropships need to be the troop transport of the game and yada yada, and you know, they need to get in and get out, but they can't be killing machines. It's just, I don't understand how you want a drop oriented vehicle, you know, without at the very least without increasing its survivability, because you know, this is one of the biggest maps in the game, and it doesn't take that long to get from A to E. You know, I could go from here to E pretty quick in an LAV, and oh shit, I gotta watch out for that. Hey buddy, with the dropship, you're just, everyone knows where you are. You know, you can't go down to get your troops because you can't really stay still very long. I mean, you can always do the airdrop, that's fine. Any pilot who's played long enough has learned how to airdrop pretty effectively. But actually going in and inserting your troops, there's not really a need for it. And look at most of these maps. Most maps will have 2 sockets on the outside, 3 sockets on the inside. Okay? So there's not, you know, I can poop out some troops on the roof if I wanted, but why? You know, people are just gonna, if I poop out troops up here, they're probably just gonna drop an uplink, and no one's ever gonna need to go on my dropship again. You know, there was a time where it was thought that this game was gonna be bigger, and that, I mean, look at this. I'm just gonna fly up. This probably affects performance. You know, why are we rendering all of this shit? Look at it all. Look how big Dust wants to be. You know, it wants to be a big boy, but it's not. You know, we're never gonna see, at least, you know, unless Legion comes out, we're never gonna see these bigger maps. You know, so it's turning into a skybox or something. There's no point in having it rendering. You know, that's probably part of your performance issue right there. You know, if these maps were really big and we had big player counts and we could go from area to area, yes, give us a drop-oriented ship, please. You know, but as is, you know, this is my problem with a lot of players giving feedback. Is like, you know, why? You know, what is the point in trying to make these things when there's just no point, you know, in the game as is. A lot of people like to think of how the game should be, and suggest balance and whatnot from that aspect, instead of looking at what is the game, what is in the game right now, what can be in the game in the near future, what can CCP do to the game, and addressing balance that way. And I think a lot of that stems from people still don't want to accept that CCP is really not supporting this game anymore. You know, again, they are a little bit. They left a tiny team on. Ratatai does a great job. I can't emphasize that enough. As much as I'm disappointed with Dust, him and his team do hard work. But it's just, for me, it's just too little too late. You know, it's just been so mishandled and so convoluted. I just don't see the point in really supporting the game. You know, like, way back in like their first intro trailers and whatnot, the stupid thing where like your shot could take down the Empire or whatever, showing drones and shit. You know, it's all bullshit. You know, you have no effect in EVE. Like, you have the tiniest little teeny tiny effect on the sovereignty or whatever, you know, but that's it. I used to play EVE, and this game turned me off from all CCP products, actually. I guess I'll do one more. This is probably going to be too long of an episode because I'm just rambling now. but there's no connectivity, and it seems like CCP has really abandoned that dream. And again, maybe Legion will come out and surprise us. Maybe there'll be connectivity, but I like to look at what's come before and try and assess what's going to happen from that. And CCP has a habit of dropping projects and chasing new things. Just look at Valkyrie, and Valkyrie's another example of CCP not wanting to establish a link between the games, because they're just placing... Valkyrie is its own standalone thing. Sure, it uses the EVE assets, and it's in the EVE universe, but it doesn't actually affect the EVE universe like people in it. Just like now in Dust, there's almost no connectivity, aside from some of the social aspects and, the dropping an orbital here and there. And it's just really sad to see this game that I put a lot of time and effort into, and I really loved this game. I still love this game as much as I fucking hate it now. It's just... I don't know, this game was a good personal lesson for me not to get overhyped and not to trust everything that comes out of a developer's mouth, because... And it's not like... maybe CCP did some of it intentionally. I think a lot of it was just stupidity from different people kind of going on up and infecting the rest of the game. But it's just... I feel like if you're going to play this game now and you really want to play it, make sure that you take advantage of the fact that this is a free game. Don't give CCP your money. I don't... Without knowing if Legion's going to be a thing... What are you even spending your money on? Where's it going? Are you just going to stay on the PS3 for the rest of your time, and mess around here? And sure, this may be one of your favorite games, but there are a lot of games out there. And sure, they might not offer what Dust offers, but Dust doesn't offer what they offer. And I feel like, unless you're really strapped for cash, which is a totally legitimate thing, especially with the way things are for a lot of people these days, you should really try to experience other games, play different games, and put your time into them and attention, because there's a lot coming out. There's a lot of cool stuff that, I feel like you're really wasting a lot of your potential as a gamer if you're just, sticking around in this all the time. And again, I can't tell you what to play, what to like. I don't want to tell you what to play and what to like. That's entirely up to you. If this is what makes you happy and you have a lot of fun with it, play it. I just think that giving CCP your money is kind of silly right now, because it's obviously not going to improve the game. That was what a lot of people spent a lot of money on, was the feeling that, okay, I'm supporting this game, I'm helping its development. Great, And also the thought that, we're creating a persistent experience for ourselves. We are going to make a difference, and it's just not, it's not going to happen. And this is a totally, I guess, off topic. And I know this will never change because it's part of the game now. It has been for a long time. But man, I've always hated skill boosters. I think that they're such a cop-out. For the fact that there's not really anything else worth spending your money on. They added the skins, and that's cute, and they're amusing, but I really liked how Eve did it. It was just, your skill is based entirely on your time in game, and I feel like, to an extent, having your skill in Dust based on, your performance in battle is important too, but being able to buy skill points is... I don't know. It's not technically pay to win, because you're not paying money to get an immediate, obvious advantage, but you are getting an advantage. You look at players who've been around and shelled out a ton of money, and they have 120 million skill points or some ridiculous shit like that. You can only take any given skill so far. So you're never going to have, 60 million skill points in a single roll. But to not acknowledge how much of an advantage it is to be able to switch from your full prototype max skill infantry sling fit to go into a full prototype max skill AV fit and then swap out to your vehicle that's mostly prototype all in the same match. Not acknowledging the advantage that gives you in a given match is, I don't know, that is a definite advantage, and you're paying for it because, yeah, eventually you can get that as a free player, but there's all this huge span of time where you are at that disadvantage, and again, that's never going to change. It's the only way the CCB is making money off this game, and people enjoy it. They like being able to buy skill points. I'm not saying they should take it away. It's just what it is. And personally, I've always felt that it was, I don't know, it was a cop-out, because there's just nothing really worth spending your money on. I don't even know what I'm doing in these matches. All I've done so far is shoot installations. There's been no vehicles at all. I keep overheating because I'm not paying attention. So I don't know. This video is probably already dragged on way too long. Why do people stay in these? But I don't know. Let me know what you think. Is this game still enjoyable to you? Are you happy with how it's come? Are you happy with where it's going? Do you see this game having a future? Do you think it will contend with with games coming out in the future? I personally, it's amusing. I've spent a lot of time in this game, so I'll play around from time to time, but it's not really fun anymore. It's laggy. It's got, oh shit. Oops. Fail. I'm trying to be all cool. Good job. But I don't know. And I mean, yeah, I could be playing with squad mates and talking to people, but that's another thing. A lot of people would be like, I stay with the game because of the connections I've made. And that's great. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you're enjoying your time with other people. But that can happen in literally any other game that has any kind of social features at all, which is most games these days. And I don't even know what's going on in this match. It's just this is a lot of matches, and this is another reason why I don't squad. I fucking hate the red line and the red line mechanic. I've always felt that the red line was a plague in this game, and there's so many ways they could have completely eliminated it while still providing safe spawns and making it more interesting. And now, most games come down to who pushes who to the red line, and then it's just a farming match, and I hate it. And that's why I hate being in the squad, because when you get in the squad, all it takes is 2 or 3 people who have any idea how to play the game, and if the other team doesn't have that same 2 or 3 people who know how to play the game, you're just gonna shit stomp all over the enemy team, and it's so boring. It's not an ego boost or anything. It's just, it's fucking boring. It's the same reason why I stopped playing Evolve, was because I destroy people as Kraken, and it makes me feel like it's really unbalanced. It might be, I don't know, but it's just boring. And I don't even know what's going on in this match. And I know that you shouldn't always be in a vehicle all the time. You should play around on the ground. But if I wanted to play as infantry, I'd go play Destiny or something, because the gameplay is actually good and crisp and smooth. I don't really care for Destiny anymore either. And another game that I got really hyped for, so slowly learning my lesson. But it just seems like good battles are few and far between in this game. And again, I don't play on the ground, so I don't really know how it feels anymore. I used to play on the ground a lot. But vehicle fights are, even if I roll around tanking, I'm actually curious how many people are even in this match. It feels like this is an empty match. So I'm probably going to explode just getting out of my ship and looking. Come on. Okay, I can't even get out of my ship. I feel like maybe I disconnected. It's possible. My internet is awful. So yeah, I'm currently trapped inside my ship. My internet seems to be working, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But yeah, and there's so many little bugs in this game that have just lasted for forever. You know, stupid shit like mobile CRUs on dropships. I don't know for certain because I haven't played in a while, but the last time I played, that was still bugged. That's been bugged for forever. Where if you go to spawn on one, they won't even show in the map. It won't show that there's a dropship flying around with a mobile CRU. Oh yeah, I definitely disconnected. Hey buddy, what's going on? Let's see how long. I like doing this when I disconnect. Oh, I can't activate that. So yeah, my internet probably crapped out. Yep, it crapped out. So I guess that's a good way to end. This wasn't a dust problem, but the game, man, I'm curious if I'll just keep going. Oh, no, I'm gonna get stuck. Go, dropship, go. Fly on your own. Be free. Be free. And upside down. So, sorry for the disconnect. It's my own fault because my internet is awful. It's just so awful. But yeah, I've just been rambling at you. I'm sure I've missed all sorts of stuff. But let me know what you think. Let me know how horribly wrong I am, or how cynical I am, or whatever. Again, you're probably not going to see too many Dust videos from me in the future unless something dramatic happens, because I don't get enjoyment out of this game. It's really boring. So if you're subscribed just for Dust, thank you. But I'm going to be putting out just random games, whatever I happen to be playing. I got a bunch of shit. Yeah. Whoa, that's loud. Alright, well, thank you, and I'll catch you next time.